All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. This is the Dan Bidondi show on TruthRadioShow.com. In just a minute, we're going to have a special guest with us, former New Age Occultist Bob Wilson, and he's going to be joining us in a couple minutes here. First of all, I want to dedicate the show here to Jeff Liam. He's from Cincinnati. He's a huge fan of my show, Infowars.com, a true patriot. And his wife just reached out to me actually a little while ago, Christy Freeman. So, my heart and prayers and condolences go out to the family. And again, a true patriot. And may the Lord, keep Jeff Lehman. And also, we apologize also for the delay here. Just technical issues again, like usual. But anyway, today's October 28th, 2019. And title of this show in this presentation is Musicians Who Sold Their Souls for Fame. We're going to get into a lot of it. And Bob Wilson's going to break down with the Beatles. We did have him coming on Skype. We are having problems with the Skype right now, so I got him the old-fashioned way on speakerphone here. So when he talks, you'll hear him over the phone instead of Skype here. It's just like a bad feedback. It's kind of weird, man. But anyway, I just want to get the topics of the show here. Again, we're going to talk about the whole music industry. Some of your favorite artists who you thought were like heroes. Some people actually look upon these people as heroes and everything else. So you got to be surprised and shocked what you got to learn today. And we tried the show a couple weeks ago. We just had some problems, so we just decided to do this again. And we're gonna have Bob Wilson in a minute here, and we're gonna talk about the Beatles. He's got a huge presentation about the Beatles, and we're gonna talk about Robert Johnson. He's a famous musician, African American musician. And I'm going to talk about the Crossroads Rituals. This is crazy stuff, man. And this demon, which they call gatekeeper, whatever, named Papa Legba. And anyway, we're going to have quotes from singers, basically admitting they sold their souls. Then we're going to talk about the 27 Club, where this kind of interesting how the 50-plus famous musicians all died at the age of 27. And you could call it a coincidence, whatever. And I like how the internet calls this stuff folklore, folk tales, whatever. It's like it's not a coincidence, man. And when you look into all these people, they always had some association with the occult or some story of how they sold their soul. So it's not a coincidence, and it's not folklore. And we're going to talk about the Illuminati hand signs that they openly display. I mean, a lot of people see that now. We're going to talk about other stuff too, but it's going to be a big show here, so please bear with us with this technical mumbo jumbo here. And also, if you like what you see here, please go to my website, TruthRadioShow.com. Right at the top, I got a PayPal account. It's a secured PayPal, and if anybody wants to donate toward the operation here, as you can see, we're expanding to get better equipment and everything else, make the show more professional and all that. So. And unfortunately, no money in the world could stop technical difficulties. We wish it could, but it can't. So anyway, without further ado, let's dive into this, because I'm telling you, man, this is a deep rabbit hole. Yeah, it really is. And we're going to bring up the biblical aspect of this. And Satan, of all people, who was an angel of music. He was in charge of the music in heaven. He was one of God's most beautiful angels he's created. And we're going to talk about all this stuff, man, the spiritual warfare involved. And just when you think the music business could not be spiritual, first of all, you got to be living under a rock if you think that's not the case. You know what I mean? Because almost every song talks either about the occult or something to do with God. You know what I mean? And so you can't escape spirituality in the music business. If you're a fan of music, you cannot escape spirituality. I mean, it goes through the New Age, the occult, biblical aspects, and other sorts. So music plays a gigantic role in the occult as well, man. So let's get Bob Wilson on, and again, we got him on speaker here. So anyway, Bob, you can hear me?
I hear you, Dad.
Awesome. So here we go. This is Bob Wilson. He's a former New Age occultist. We had him on a couple of times, and he's also into the music business somewhat. And you were a musician, right? Is that correct?
I produce a lot of music, which is a music magazine and a couple other music magazines. And, I do some podcasts and things like that. Still, but, I got to do little tiny shows and meet a lot of people. And, got to see some behind the scenes, stuff like that. So that kind of brought me into that, realm. And then become a Christian after being delivered from the New Age and the occult. It's just amazing to me how music is so important to people, as you were saying, and I think it goes back to what you said, that Satan is the one who built the praise unto God when his name is Lucifer. And, that in Ezekiel chapter 28, it said he had pipe organs, just, type things built right into his body. Or music would come to him, so I think that brings up my fascination with music. I guess that's where it starts.
So that being said, yes, music was created for such blessing things like worshiping God, and Satan now uses it against God. You know what I mean? And it's kind of crazy, man. So anyway, you wanted to talk about the Beatles. I mean, you have a big story about the Beatles and the album Sgt. Pepper's and everything else.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, in 1967, our country now is in such bad shape. Was split right down the middle. And, where did this rift come from? And I think one of the places we look should be the 1967, they call it the Summer of Love. In America, I think kind of got hit by a perfect storm as we were involved in the Vietnam War. And, the Beatles were putting out Sgt. Pepper with the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which, Lucy Sky Diamonds, LSD. I think that's kind of a word. I don't believe that's an accident. Even John's kids drew a picture of Lucy in the sky. And this, on the other song they saying, "A day in the life I'd love to turn you on." What are they turning you on to? They're turning you on to acid. And with the anti-war movement, people didn't want to go, could be drafted to fight in the war, of course. Most people wouldn't want to if they didn't have to. Even if, if we love our country, we stand up if we have faith in God and such, and it's a just war. But Vietnam was kind of a crazy time. So the country got, the division of the war, anti-war movement, people dropping acid, free love. Love is free from God, but, freedom comes responsibility. So all this free love is bringing, why do we have so many broken homes today and so much abortion? Love's not really free in that way. Love is not free without responsibility. So, what happens in war? If you look at the Nazis, for instance, they had a great propaganda machine. So propaganda can be used for good or for bad, I would say. But what was the propaganda that was telling us to basically drugs are good, LSD is good, marijuana is good, free love is good? Who was singing this? I mean, who were the four people, the most popular people in the world were the Beatles? Do I think they knew consciously what they were doing? I don't think they were put up to it by somebody when you're writing books from the CIA or something. I believe it was spiritual forces personally. And maybe the creation of acid came from someplace, I've read in the government, but I'm not an expert on that. But, you had the Beatles, the four most popular entertainers in the world probably at that time. And they're telling people, basically, if you listen to them, they're not saying you drop acid, but they're telling you LSD, you get all these kids listening to that. So I went back and I just listened to George Harrison talk about his own spirituality in his own words. And where does it always start? It starts there, I think, with me. And I think it started there with you. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And George Harrison said the same thing I think we both did. He said at 13 he gave up on Catholicism. And in George's mind, I think that meant that he was giving up on, Jesus in Christianity, because he thought Catholicism was Christianity. The institutional church was that. It wasn't anyone masqueraded as the Book of Acts. There's a big difference between what was going on between the Book of Acts and what was happening in the churches. So, well-meaning, such as myself, at 15, I got involved through clergy, in what was the New Age movement. It started innocently enough, which is why I'm one people about astrology. I wouldn't even look at the little one in the paper, and people laugh at me sometimes, but it's because that's what started me on the road. That got people I knew into channeling. I didn't do that one myself, thank God. But past life regression, where people have visions, and I saw things in that. As I came to the Lord, I actually felt a demon come off someone once, and I'm not saying that for sensational. I want to make a good show. It puts a chill down me, and they tell you. As I get older, I realize I'm lucky I wasn't expelled from this stuff. But I think the Lord let me see it. So show me how bad what we had gotten into was. You know, and I was led in by a priest, or more accurately a brother, big brother on in my high school, who was like a priest who doesn't say mass. And, you know, we were actually searching for something. And, you know, I found it when I found Jesus, but I went through a very ugly road. So I'm just getting into this about the Beatles. I feel like I don't know. You know, I like talking with Dan. I don't just want to give a presentation. But he'll jump in a second. But, you know, they're not. The Beatles in 67 were giving us LSD. You know, they're saying, hey, Lucy was untitled, and free love. You know, because sex, it feels good. You know, a lot of things feel good, but it's not. The outcome isn't too good. And they're also bringing in what became the New Age movement. They got involved in with this Maharishi, which basically is what brought into the country an influx of spirituality that was, you know, I even came through Catholicism or on through dead Protestantism, and we've had enough of it. We're going to rebel. You got to be real careful when you rebel, because that's Satan's sin, you know, he rebelled. And maybe those were bad things they were trying to get away from, but you go into it headstrong, and you end up running into something bad to get away from something bad. So they got this yoga meditation. In Harrison's own words, he began to believe in reincarnation. You know, you'll be born again and again and again in a cycle until you reach perfection. And I don't understand what perfection you're reaching if you're dropping drugs, sleeping with other women, and cheating on your wife. I'm not singling them out. They're rock stars. If I ever was in that position, I'm just saying, these guys are really nobody to be preaching. John Lennon became a heroin addict, and he was deeply into, you know, he has this song Cold Turkey. What was the Cold Turkey? From heroin. I don't need a heroin person giving me advice. I'm no better or worse. I'm listening to you, as they say again. But, you know, millions of people are listening to these people. And what's their advice? His own life was falling apart, you know, and Lennon actually in a song sang about the suicide attempt he was contemplating in a song. That's an outtake song. You can hear it on YouTube, though. You can look it up. It's called one is called You Saved My Soul, and another is called Help Me to Help Myself. Talking with Jesus and Amen. For a time, Lennon had told us, you know, the Beatles are bigger than Jesus, and people say he just was more popular. But he said two other things. He said Christianity will vanish and shrink in the same interview with Maureen Cleave. So, you know, dead religion might vanish and shrink, and he might have had a point, but Jesus isn't going to vanish and shrink, so you better deal with that. I know I had to, you know, I'm a sinner again in this thing. So they're bringing in some really bad stuff. So I was just going to, I'll take a little breath here. I've been talking a lot, but, you know, I can get back into George Harrison and some stuff that gets even wilder, and just maybe we'll get some of Dan's thoughts here.
Well, I wanted to get into the Sgt. Pepper album, and you made a mention, because I'm not big into pop culture. I mean, like, I know songs, but I couldn't tell you who sings them. You know what I mean? I'm not big into pop culture, and most, you know, especially the older stuff. But the Sgt. Pepper album, that was pretty interesting, especially when you brought that up and you get the slide on the screen here. I don't know if on your computer, try opening another tab, just mute it, that other tab, this way you can see what's going on the screen. Nope, your volume's fine. Just the volume on the computer, just mute it. This way we don't get back feed. This way you can see what's going on the screen, and we could be on the same page. But the Sgt. Pepper album.
Gotcha.
And there's a picture, it happens to be a picture of Aleister Crowley on the Sgt. Pepper album.
My computer's still loading the picture, but I've seen that one before.
Oh, okay, so if you want to get into the description of this Sgt. Pepper album.
Well, the Beatles picked all these people who they said they admired or they were interested in. And one of the people that they picked was Aleister Crowley. There's also, you know, Gandhi on there, everything from the Bowery Boys to the Groucho Marx. But, you know, Aleister, you know, you told people, you know, so many times and warned people who Aleister Crowley was. It's like, well, these guys are searching and you drop an acid and you get removed from reality and they have money. You know, anything seems good. And unfortunately, they stumbled into, you know, John Lennon got fully involved in the occult. Yoko Ono now calls herself a witch. She admitted it with her last album. And, you know, and the gentleman named Jeff Emmerich wrote a book about this, and he said the difference between the Beatles when they flew over to be with the Maharishi and his ashram, and they came back. He described them, and I don't believe he was a Christian. I hope he wasn't, but he still said when they came back, they were different people. They came back like, you can look at their picture. They came back, they're handsome men, but they're dirty, grubby. He said they were just not getting along. They started a fight. I believe it's because then again, they just opened the door now to acid and all negative spirituality, and it showed in their appearance. But this, is probably the #1 album cover of all time. And, at least, I don't know what's so interesting about Aleister Crowley. People always go, oh, everything's innocent. I don't know. It's like, you get yourself into the occult from it. I don't know how innocent it is. And, this is what you're preaching to people. So this is probably the most popular, iconic album cover of all time. If you don't believe me, that.
Well, yeah, if you want to get into a little bit about Aleister Crowley, yeah. I mean, a lot of people should know, by watching my show here, who Aleister Crowley is. But Aleister Crowley plays a big role, even though he lived long before the rock and roll industry really kicked in. Aleister Crowley, he was a very interesting person, man, and he was a high-level occultist, probably the highest occultist out of his time. Let's get to a slide here, right here, Aleister Crowley. He was born Edward Alexander Crowley, and also known as the Father Perdurum, Latin for I shall endure till the end. And he had a famous saying too, basically saying, do what thy will, same thing as Anton LaVey. Anyway, he was the great beast 666, and literally was the beast. I mean, like, if this guy wasn't closer to Satan, I don't know who is. Because the stuff that this guy did, and if I mention half the stuff he did, I'd probably get kicked off of Facebook for talking like this. But the great B666, he was an English occultist, a mystic, a ceremonial magician, a poet, and was responsible for founding the religious philosophy of Thelema. Now, he was a student of Madame H.P. Blavatsky. I should have put a slide up for her as well. But that's where he got his teachings from. Then he went on to join Freemasonry. He was a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. He was one of the most famous Masons of his time. He was well admired by Masonry. This man, he has written several books. In his books, he described his brand of magic. Now, his brand of magic ends with a K instead of the traditional C, because he took magic above and beyond anything else. He also was the founder of many, many occult secret societies. One as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Right here, also the Order of Thelema, and many other organizations. He's belonged to probably, they said, dozens of secret societies. He's known so many secret handshakes and tokens and symbols and signs that he even forgot, half of them. But anyway, this man literally was evil. And he was called the Beast because in just 1 year alone, in his brand of magic, he would literally have sodomy with a young male boy and sacrifice. And, the adrenaline blood, that's where the adrenal, I forget what it's called, adrenal gland. It's the adrenalized blood of the sacrificed child. They would scare the crap out of the child and kill the child with the adrenalized blood. And they believed the blood, ingesting the blood, would give them everlasting life. And also the sacrifice would give seething energy to the demonic spirits that they're sacrificing the child to. And, with the sodomy, it's really disgusting, man. And when they were conducting the sodomy, they believed they opened the doors to Philemon. This goes into the Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic religion. And very evil, dark, disgusting stuff. I mean, again, I can't tell you everything about Crowley because this man was pure, unadulterated evil. And why the Beatles would have him on the cover, that's very, very disturbing. And we're going to get into later, too. Ozzy Osbourne has a song about Mr. Crowley as well. And he's just concerned about Crowley, even though Crowley was dead long before his time, whatever. But this man plays a very sinister role in the music business. And, it's just one of many, actually, man. And it's crazy. But Aleister Crowley, man, he's not a person at all to admire. And again, if you do studies on your own, they made documentaries about Crowley. Of course, they watered it down and everything else. But Crowley is not a man in any sort of way, and I don't glorify the man at all. He was a very smart man, absolutely, but a sinister genius. And yes, he was a philosopher, but his philosophy came from Satan. Literally came from Satan. And this guy literally thought he was the Antichrist. And if anybody in history was close to being the Antichrist, this man would have been it. I mean, he was more evil than Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Goebbels, and all these cats put together. Even though they killed more people than Crowley did, but if Crowley had the resources to do so, there would have been mass slaughter everywhere. But this man was responsible for killing untold numbers of children and sacrificial ceremonies and everything else. So, but yeah, that's the gist of Crowley here. And if you want to add anything, Bob.
So what's he doing on the cover? It's a good question. Like somebody could say, well, it was just interesting him. If he described to me what you just did, and I thought it was an interesting story, I wouldn't put him on a record cover if I had one. But at the same time this was going on, the Rolling Stones were putting out a record, and they kind of copied the Beatles cover. And what do they call their album? Her Majesty's Satanic Secret Service. So it's everything's always innocent, everybody tries to write it off. But I don't write everything off because what are the Beatles getting involved in and where did the New Age come from? I believe it came in a large part directly from when they opened the door by bringing in this Maharishi and letting get into the occult. And it's interesting later, in March of 1977, Yoko, they had on staff, a guy they paid, to be on their staff. What was his function? He's like an employee that's there all day. They had, the money to pay a tarot card reader to be on staff and follow them around. And John and Yoko that showing in numerology and these other things, they couldn't make them move without it. They'd shop in occult bookstores. But John Green accounts in his own book. You can the people can go look it up if they want. But he accounts that Yoko flew with him to Colombia in South America. Because of his behest, he knew that one of the most powerful witches in this place. Now again, this is not a guy who converted to Christianity. I hope he did Legba or something, or he does in the future. He's telling us from their viewpoint. And he just said she flies down there with him. They go to see this witch. Yoko basically wanted power. So she paid him to do a ceremony, and someone had to sign the name making a deal with the devil. This is like his own account. This isn't me making it up. This isn't coming from a different source. This is from someone who is on this account. And she didn't know it. She was afraid to sign her name. So she told him to sign it, and he said what she did. She wrote Yoko Ono. Okay. Someone had to sign when they asked them to do that in her, ceremony. So they were deeply in culture. I just found Lennon very hypocritical when he has a song like God, and that's the song where he starts saying all the things he doesn't believe in. Like, I don't believe in the Beatles. I don't believe in Bob Dylan anymore. He calls him Zimmerman, Robert Zimmerman. I don't believe in the I Ching list and all these things, but he's full of it because he's like neck deep in the occult. So in 1972, though, he was a TV addict, and he would watch some of the televangelists, like, over the years, going from 72 on, like Jim Baker, Billy Graham, Pat Robertson, Oral Roberts. You can have your own opinion about them, but anybody that's in this pair in my book has got some use, if you're stealing people's money and things, but I don't want to get into all that. But I'm just saying, John was listening to them. And he wrote to Oral Roberts, and he basically told him he didn't want to be destroyed by drugs, and he wanted to get out of this hell. And he said hell, he didn't know what he needed is hell, the place where you go and you die if you're not right with God. He was talking about the hell he was living in. And, all his money and all his fame and all this, he became a heroin addict, which is sad, and it happens to many people who just had opioid addiction in the country. But was the guy happy? He was thinking of throwing himself out a window and killing himself. And so this is the shape that this guy's in after getting all his fame, all these women, all this money, all the accolades, one of the most popular songwriters of all time. But I just found it hypocritical because he mocked Christianity for so long, and he mocked Bob Dylan and he became a Christian. But he did make songs you can look up on YouTube. Two, like I said, Help Me to Help Myself. That one's a Christian song if you look it up. And the second one, Yoko kind of got to him, and the tarot card reader John Gray accounts that he never really got completely out of the occult. He started going to church in the past and actually bringing their son, which would have happened, in the later 70s. And they don't probably have that, actually, I guess it doesn't go along. He eventually tried to push for him, but he was desperate for help. So as you say, when these people get into this, make a deal. He made a deal with the occult. I don't know if he made a deal where he accepted the devil dramatically from a movie. But you get into the occult, it's the same thing. And people are not. They end up wrecked, desperate, and suicidal. And what happened to him? Wrecked, desperate, and suicidal. And it's not that I want to judge him. Like, I hope when he did make his peace with Jesus, even though he fell, I hope he had stuck, enough that when he was gunned down and he was right with God. But he led so many people astray. And people, it's very dangerous when we make idols of people, like even if we make idols of televangelists, So it's just, it was 67, everybody's quote searching, but, what were they searching for? They ended up with drugs, free love, which broke families up, and now all this time later, where are we at? We have abortion mills because of free love, and because kids are inundated with imagery all the time that's so sexual, adults do. And then the kids get pregnant, and what do? They don't know what to do. Usually they end up, they're up in broken homes, and they're growing up without any religious training. And I don't just mean that in a sense, a relationship with Jesus is the ideal. But I use religious training loosely. So of course you're enough with abortion, and this is spiritual stuff. It's darkness. The people aren't even maybe aware. We could be like sheep. I guess that's what Jesus called us, sheep, because we're let alone. But all these forces were brought in, I believe, in 1967, and not to pile it all on these four guys, but I mean, the door came wide open, and look at who we're standing today.
Yep, exactly.
Broken country. So back to Dan there.
Yeah, exactly, man. And there's like a lot of singers that openly said they sold their souls too. And the Beatles, I mean, we won't get into the slides with the quotes. They admitting, John Lennon also admitting that we sold our souls to rock and roll, for rock and roll. I'm sorry, and it sounds kind of crazy, and I know people tend to laugh at it, call it folklore, or whatever the case. But this is real stuff, and you could watch interviews. It's not just hearsay or people coming up with wild conspiracy theories on the internet. You could go to TMZ videos when they interview artists, old ones like talk shows when they have like these old singers on back in the day, whatever the case. At one point in time or another, many times they've openly said in interviews, "Oh yeah, I sold my soul." I think it was I believe it was Jimi Hendrix. It was. He said he couldn't even sell a bar room out without getting kicked out, and he made a pact with the devil. Next thing, he's playing up on stage. It's not. He said it's not me playing, and I'm selling out stadiums. You know what I mean? And this is real stories, man. And this is what brought my interest into it because, of course, you can't believe everything you hear on the internet. Absolutely, there's a lot of fact checking that goes along with this. And if you got any more to add to the Beatles, because I like to move on to this whole Robert Johnson thing.
Something I'd like to add because it
Sure.
shows you how deep they got into it. So, like when I started, I said people can laugh. They say astrology, what's wrong with that? It's no big deal. You see, it's like a fortune cookie. So, like the first thing that happened with my friend who was a priest was, we were talking, and he was kind of like a dad to me, and he's reading the good with sun signs, and he thought there's nothing to it. But someone kept telling him, this stuff is, it's following through, it's real, blah, blah, blah. He started looking these things up at that simple level. But then over a couple of years, it gets into these things called charts. And it's really intricate. And you necessarily harry if you did these charts. Maybe some of you have seen them. I don't want to give them any glorification. It's best to stay away from them because it would be things with your birthday, the time you were born, the place you were born. All these different things. But what they don't tell you, and I learned from her and other people too, is when they do the chart, it's not complete. They go to a spirit guide and get information. Now, are there phonies who say they do these things that they were exposed by Houdini? Sure. But I'm not talking about phonies. But the people I've seen, I saw what I saw when I saw it, you know. And, you know, the stuff is, there are real spiritual forces. The Holy Spirit is also real, you know, as it depicted in the book of Acts. George Harrison got so deep into this stuff that in the 1990s, the Beatles did, like, the three of them got back together and make a show on ABC they called Anthology. And the records came out with it in a book. So it was a huge moneymaker. But he put his backing behind the Natural Law Party in England. And the thing that's, you know, funny is the people involved in it were big in levitation. Called levitation, you know, you're in a lotus position and you float. Now, he believed this was possible, and he was saying that this was a real thing he experienced. And I never really drew that when I was into it, but when I went to an occult center that we frequented often, they didn't list the yellow pages of that. I guess they would call it like a flotation tank, listed place. You know, it was an occult center. But that's went on, and they told me, and I got to know these people, and these things were happening, that people actually came in and levitated. So, you know, in private, but Harrison was into that, and, you know, he believed it sounded like he did it, and he wanted the English people to elect a natural law party, which was brought up with the enlightened, quote-unquote, you know, occultists who were into levitation, and he was really mad because people laughed at him. And he said basically they told him to go F himself, you know, when he brought this out in public, so that, you know, cheesy people didn't get elected. But they got neck deep in the occult, and the thing, where did it start? George Harrison said, when I was 13, I gave up on Catholicism because I was a hypocrite and it was hypocritical. And everybody I talk to, like in my sphere, it's always like, well, I don't believe in Catholicism. You know, it was wrong. And you think that's Christianity, but it's not. It's really like, you know, paganism. And some people could be Christians in that church. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm just saying the church and what they're teaching is a great error. And then you get people who quote go on the search, and sometimes you don't go right to Jesus, you end up in these really bad places and these bad things. So, you know, what happened to these guys ending up suicidal. And Harrison, you know, passed away a few years ago, but he was neck deep in this stuff. So when they, you know, when they talk about things, just know they brought so many people into the New Age. They opened the doors for Oprah Winfrey, Marianne Williamson, Shirley MacLaine, all these people that make that popular. You go to Barnes & Noble, they still sell books instead of ebooks, but we've been loaded with this garbage. And it was such a thing that came into America. Look at all the news that we have. Look at all the broken families. Look at all the abortions. Look at all the problems that we have. And suicides and other things. Depression.
Absolutely. And as you were talking, I was just going over some of the slides, some of the quotes that these singers talking about, man. And it's kind of crazy, man. It really is. That you know, this stuff would happen. You know, you think it's just people just up there innocently singing, you know, making a lot of money, having a good time, and you know, the way it should be. But you know, unfortunately, they got to get involved in the occultism and everything else. You know, the dark stuff that goes on behind the scenes that the fans don't see. You know what I mean? They'll pay top dollar and stand there for hours just to wait in line to get a ticket. And another, you know, God knows how many hours to wait in line to get into a packed, sweaty place and full of people taking drugs, smoking, whatever the case they're doing there. You know, God knows what they do in those shows. I heard a lot of, you know, horror stories, and also people actually literally having sex on the floor. It's kind of crazy, man. And all that to see this, you know, their favorite singer, and not knowing that these people actually inducing the subliminal into them to do these kind of acts and make it look cool. Oh, it's cool to worship Satan, cool to take drugs and have sex with random people, and you know, but they don't tell you the consequences that comes along with this stuff. And then you hear it later after these guys, you know, the career's almost done. Then they'll come out later and tell you everything. Oh yeah, we did. You know, we sold our souls and everything else. And you know, meanwhile, 30 years later, you're a fan. You're like, oh, thanks a lot. You ruined my life because you know, you know what I mean. And I did some really stupid stuff because you know, I'm not me. I mean, thank God I never followed with the fad of this stuff. Yeah, but that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, these people become idols, you know, it's a funny thing. Like, I've asked people for their autographs of baseball players, I didn't think out of it. And since I was a kid, these musicians, they really make them into, like, little gods. Like, and it's so funny, like, Rod Stewart played a small concert, and the amount of money for the tickets was like $600, $700. Like, people don't have enough to eat. And, I'm assuming sometimes people buy these tickets on credit cards and stuff. It's just incredible how much people, it's almost like worship, when you go and worship the Lord, you put your hands up. When some Christians worship and you sing along and worship the Lord. And it's almost like when you go to these shows and they jump around and put their hands up, it's really like a kind of worship. And I think that's where music stems from, and that's why we're so fascinated with it. At least that's the way it seems to me.
Oh, amazing. And that, it's kind of crazy when you actually realize there's a lot of spirituality involved. It's like the football games too, man. Like you see on TV, they'll, if anybody talks dirt or smack, they'll put that on the TV, whatever. But if they don't show you before the games, start. Both teams, the majority of each team, they'll go into the middle of the field before the game. All of them join hands together and say prayers, to God. They won't show you that on TV. And unfortunately, in the music business, they do similar things, the musicians, but not to the God of the universe, unfortunately, but Satan himself. Which is kind of scary stuff, man. And I could only imagine because us as human beings, we've only literally just begun to fathom what music really actually is. And I think I'm not too familiar with music, but there's some kind of a note, they call it the sixth note, I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of note that is like literally from the guitar of Satan, or whatever the case is. I should have brought that up. I should have done research on that. But there's, the whole violin thing and everything else. The devil went down to Georgia, but there's a story behind that too. There's so many stories behind these things. The Golden Fiddle, just so many stories that come along, and most of the time it's true. There's a lot of truth and validity to these stories. It's not just folktale. So, anything else you want to throw in about the Beatles before you move on?
I pretty much covered it with them, but I just wanted to bring up again, like, I didn't have that song Imagine. I hate that song. And then people go, I love that song, but why do I hate it? It's a false piece. It's like saying, imagine there's no heaven, imagine there is heaven, imagine there's no hell, what is it now? And there's not going to be this peace on earth until the Lord comes back, and it's like giving people a delusion. And then if you follow, the people who are telling you this, just like I was broken and every sinner is broken, these guys are giving a real heavy-duty false message. It plays right into what I see as becoming the Antichrist. And it's going to be this one world, imagine a new world. Just, when you sleep, you dream it. You dream it, you're sleeping. It's like this isn't going to happen, but it's just deluding so many people. And the Beatles maybe had enough money, they didn't have to get up for work. You went to play a concert, when you made a record, and they were making enough money to maybe get away with taking the drugs. But the normal person can function for the work and for the life, if you're doing these things. And, a lot of other people came in behind the too, not just them. So I don't pile it all on them, but they were the most famous.
Yeah.
And it just left us in such a place. But where are we? The point to the show is definitely to show how this is in music. But, I just want to bring up, I think we're I don't want to debate if it's pre, mid, or after. At some point, Jesus is going to come back. And, it says the word petty doctrine and discrepancies. You get 10 Christians and 10 opinions on that. I don't want to fight about it. I love Jesus. But my point is he's going to come back. And it says after he does, the age of grace is over. And it's going to be real tough for the people living at that time. And so you can be beheaded to get a mark. And, you're going to have to die for your faith and ignore that mark. And, and they don't bring it up in a lot of churches, some due to their credit, and it's just something people need to hear. And, it's uncomfortable for me saying it because people, generally don't hear it. But it's like, it's true. And at some point, you're going to have to deal with it. Suppose the rapture happened tomorrow. I mean, you're ready to go, and the people left on earth are going to have to deal with that. And then people go, I'm not a bad person. Well, we're a bad society, and I was born into it, and I know I'm a sinner. And I don't think God is watching those babies being slaughtered, the poor being ignored. The imagery of the kids and sexuality, forcing homosexuality, and things that's going to be taught to young children. I don't mean to judge what he called him that. I'm a sinner too. But, that's what I see as the truth. And I have free speech. You can disagree with me, but I get to say what I want to do with me so far. And that's why we bring this up. You know, it's not serious. It's like life and death. Spiritually, do you believe in Jesus? Do you know him, the Lord?
Amen. That's what it's all about, man. And those watching on Facebook, thanks for the feedback, Jonathan. And those watching on Facebook, I don't know if, I guess it's freezing up once in a while here and there, but this is being recorded. We're going to put this in our YouTube channel right after the show. It's YouTube.com/Truth Radio Show. You'll find it there, and I'll send the links out later. That's where, you know, if you really get it out, it's through the YouTube and the other platforms as well, because we're still building this new Facebook page up. So, yeah, so I want to move into this thing called the Crossroads Ritual. Now, if anybody remembers a guy here named Robert Johnson, let me go to the slides here and see if we can get. Yeah, Robert Johnson. Let me get to his slide. I had it in the other one, but I guess so. Robert Johnson, he's this black fellow on the top of the screen here that's in the middle of the crossroads. He was a famous guitar player, a famous musician, and on the highway of 49 and 61. Okay, and let me see if I get through. I lost some of the crossroads images here. So this is my first time using this guy, so forgive me. So Robert Johnson here, he made a pact. You know, he came to a crossroads, and that's where the crossroads name comes from, because you come to a point in your life that, all right, I tried everything. I'm at my wit's end. I've lost everything, whatever the case. You come to a crossroads in your life, and you're like, all right, what do I do now? So there's this crossroads ritual. I mean, this goes back into the ancient times and everything else too, and it goes into voodoo. There's a bunch of rituals involved with this. That you go to a crossroads at midnight, and I'm not going to tell you what the ceremony is. It's long and tedious anyway, but it's a dumb, super stupid ceremony that you literally do in the middle of the street, as you can see the guy standing directly in the middle of the two crossroads there, and you got to do this ritual at night. And there's a different number of demons, what we know as demons, but these people looked on as gods or deities or spirit guides and such. It depends which cult you're into, either New Age or Voodoo, whatever the case. But anyway, when you come to this crossroads, this is what Robert Johnson did. And him being African American, now there's 3 evil spirits that you'll meet at the crossroads. Now, regardless what you believe, or you think this is folklore, whatever the case, this is what these people actually believe, and these things are real, folks. Except for they're not gods, spirit guides, or any of that stuff. These things are demonic or unclean spirits, familiar spirits as well. And they are not there to help you. They're not there to represent you like they claim they are. So it says middle of the highways here, on Highway 61 and 49. And it's Clarksdale, Mississippi. This is where the famous musician Robert Johnson, which he's also a member of the 27 Club, we'll get into in a minute, Robert Johnson in a Crossroads Ritual. This is where it all happened, where he became famous. He met this guy on the right here, which is Papa Legba, Legba, and they even got a memorial over there for him. They got a plaque where he allegedly sold his soul right at the beginning of the crossroads there, and they make this famous. They put a little monument up there with the guitars and everything else, and they got like little stores in the area to make money off the theme. And believe it or not, people literally go to this crossroads to try to communicate with these spirits to hopefully cut a deal.
You know what disturbed me last night? When I came to the Lord, a big part of it was the first witness I heard was Bob Wilson. He put out 3 records, Slow Train Coming, Save, and Shot of Love. And last night, I woke up in sleep and I put on a documentary, Martin Scorsese and Bob Dylan. And in the middle of the thing, we talk about what you're talking about right now, and I didn't expect to see that scene. And somebody was saying when Dylan was playing in Minnesota, and he wasn't that good of a guitar player, and he wasn't, anything special. And then he went to New York and he, got into it. And I think he just played, he got more talented, but he left it open-ended. They brought up what you did. You kind of was joking about it. I didn't think it was funny, especially since you professed to be a Christian. And, they said to him, like, could you make a deal there? And he didn't really answer it. And, I didn't think it was funny. I don't think it's anything to joke about. But that was in Martin Scorsese's documentary that he made about Hong Kong. Not the most recent one, but the one before that, about 5 years ago since he was talking.
Yeah, and before I get into the three spirits too, I do want to go back to the quotes one more time because I want to explain a couple of these. This way, when you see these, when I explain to it, I'm going to say next about these three crossroads spirits. That'll make a lot more sense to people out there. So, you see, I'm going to transition over to the quotes one more time, and I got a bunch of them, so we're going to go through them. Not every one of them, but this is some of, these are famous people who.
I'm having trouble with the live feed, so if you say the quotes, I can definitely do it. I'm having trouble seeing them on.
Well, it's delayed, so I think it's a 30-second delay on the live feed.
Okay.
So you'll see them eventually, but.
Sure. I got it pulled up and I can listen to what you're saying. But it's funny you said Highway 61, right?
Yep.
And that was the name of the Dylan album at the time, Highway 61 Revisited. It was a big Robert Johnson film. At the time, I think he alluded to that as a myth. I hope he didn't actually do that. He talked about it, but, he made a bold statement as a rock and roller did with a gospel tour where he was hated and almost ruined his career in 1981. And, he basically told it like it was, not holding back. So, he accepted the Lord. You can be free from any of that. But I don't even like to joke about it. Like, I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to name a record after it or play around with it. Just because I've been took by that. That the Lord has done great things I've seen him do. But I also went through a lot of suffering getting out of that. And, it's not something I would ever be able to chuckle about. I laugh at a lot of things that makes it lighter, but I can't really laugh about that stuff.
Absolutely. And the quotes here, as people just read, real quick. I'm not going to read every one of them. I just want people just glance through them here because there's a lot of them. And highlight like people like Jimi Hendrix here. He says through music, this is a big one right here. He's openly admitting what this music does to you. Because if, like I explained before I get into this one, if you went to a restaurant, okay, like Burger King, whatever the case, right? The music that's being played in the dining room affects the mood of the customers, and literally does. And anybody's been to a Johnny Rockets, it's a nostalgia place of the old 60s, the 50s and 60s, mainly the 50s, that old-time era, and the rock and roll playing, everybody's having a good time. And you literally could see the psychology of what music does. Years ago, when I was young, I worked at Wendy's, and this is where I really discovered this. And in the dining room, they were playing this sappy old, I want to slice my wrist type love music, you know what I mean? So, and everybody in the dining room was just they're looking depressed on them. Just sitting there, like, eating a sandwich, like, just glazed into oblivion. Then I changed the music to, the modern day whatever music, and all of a sudden you can see people's spirits lift up all. People, look a little bit more happier and all that stuff. And the manager, you can't have that on. You got to put it back. And when the manager left, I put it back on the other stations. Then I played rock, and everybody's like, like you see the heads bobbing a little bit. And, the pop music, you can see the young kids are like, going like this with their heads a little bit. And, like, the atmosphere is more energy, plain and simple. So if you go to a Bob Dylan concert, everybody's sitting there like this. If you go to a Metallica concert, people are like, I want to go head banging, go jump in a pit and just destroy everything. That's what music does to you. The music affects the outcome of your life in that environment that's going on. And go experiment with yourself, folks. You can see it. And you walk into a Target, the Target superstores there, they don't play music on the intercoms no more. It's weird. So you walk in there, it feels like you're in a flea market. And it's just weird. All you hear is footsteps and people like whispering and whatever. It's so just dead in there. And I talked to a couple of employees that are like, it's kind of weird. One guy said I used to work at Walmart, and I asked him about the music, and he's like, it's just kind of weird that there's nothing playing. You know what I mean? Then you go to Walmart, they got this advertisements and all this whatever going on, and the music playing, and it's just a different environment, and that's what I'm trying to say is that's the effect that music does to this, to you, to the environment, to the atmosphere, and that's why. And we are getting to Satan, man. Satan, again, God made him in charge of the heavenly music, and when Satan fell, he took his talents with him, and again, Satan does everything mirror image to what the Father teaches. You know what I mean? And he uses the music to literally affect your life. And people say, well, it doesn't affect my life. It doesn't. That's why you growing your hair long. That's why you are painting your fingernails. And this is kind of crazy when we get into the symbolism, man. This is nuts, man. Anybody knows anything about Baphomet, the androgynous god? It literally transforms you into an androgynous person. Now you look at the old rock stars, right? You know, the tough guys, whatever. But they had long hair, painted fingernails, makeup on, and the androgynous, half man, half girl. And that's why they display, the coat of Mendes, or, sorry for doing that. But it turns you into an androgynous person, and without you knowing it, you're dressing like a girl. You are putting makeup on, you're going to this concert, you're shaving your chest, you got, like you're bowing to this Baphomet creature. And, until I started studying this week, that's when it really clicked in, because, yes, I'm a fan of 80s rock music, absolutely. But I know the limit to where it could go and where it can't, you know what I mean? So, either way, man, you dress in the part, it doesn't affect my life. It don't. I had so many people tell me that. It doesn't affect then you're dressing like it. You surround your life around this music. You got bumper stickers on your car, posters on your wall. You act the attitude of your music. Then you get the rappers who think they're straight up G's. They're like, I've been to different concerts, okay? And you literally can see the people. They're affected differently than different concerts. Go to a rock concert. Rock concert, everybody's like, Like they're like, yeah, just raged and wild up, and they go into mosh pits and everything. You go to a rap concert, everybody's like this, standing in their little cliques. Yo, you looked at my girl, and there's always fights. I was a bouncer for years at different places, and we had different concerts, and I seen what goes on. Okay, and I'm not stereotyping people or anything or using any racism. This is what I've seen. Okay, then you go to something like a Bob Dylan concert, some mellow. People, they have a good time, and it's mellow. They walk out, how you doing? Everybody's nice, and it's just the different effects on reality. And especially when I hate when people say, it doesn't affect my life. It affects your life. Then you got people like my girlfriend, Natasha, she was singing Katy Perry song, the song E.T. Okay, I'm like, hey, hon, it's like, do you realize what you're singing? Hey, if you want to turn your mute your feed, come.
Just trying to get the picture and I broke some feed.
Oh, no problem. So she's singing Katy Perry song, and I'm like, can I ask you a question? She goes, what? So, do you know what you're singing? She goes, yeah, Katy Perry. No, it's like, do you really know what you're singing? And she's like, yeah, the lyrics. I'm like, learn the lyrics and actually know what she's saying, talking about. Then there's a whole different outcome. You know what I mean? And it goes for all these songs too. You have these little girls like that. What's that song that came out? Oh man, I'm a genie in the bottle. Come rub me the right way. Little girls, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. The mothers are taking videos on the cell phone, and the girls are, little girls are, moving their body all promiscuously, and they think it's the cutest thing. Oh, it's so awesome. They put up on their Facebook. Look at my daughter. She's so smart. She knows all the lyrics of this I'm a genie in the bottle and knows how to dance like her. You think she's smart? You think it's cute when you're sexually exploiting your child doing that? There's nothing cute about that at all. But yeah, music doesn't affect people's lives. And it affects every aspect of your life, period. You know what I mean? And so then there's people, again, that, wise to this stuff. And, me, I take it only as entertainment. But yes, music can get affected because, like, when I go to the gym, okay, I want to go to the gym and I want to be pumped up. So I, put my headphones on, play some 80s rock or something to get my adrenaline going. You know what I mean? And if, try it. Go to the gym, try to listen to old style country music, whatever. You got to do like this. You got to be going 2 miles an hour on the treadmill versus some hardcore 80s rock song, and you're doing 1,000 miles on the treadmill. All right, that's where I'm going with this, okay? Because it affects your life spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And people get emotional. The emotions are unreal, man. The churches use this. The churches, big time. This is huge in the churches, folks. Especially these false religions, the charismatic movement and all that, the Assembly of God churches. They use music purposely to target your emotions. And this works. I see it all the time, man. I used to go to this, when I didn't know any better, this Assembly of God church. And now you go into the church, it looks like a gigantic movie studio. Top state-of-the-art equipment and everything else. So anyway, at the beginning of the service, it's nothing wrong with singing a couple of praises to the Lord, absolutely. But at the beginning of the service, they pump the music. Pump it, pump it, pump it. 4 songs down, 5 songs down, 6 songs down. Next 45 minutes of singing, now it's turned into a concert. So now the girls, the women, because they get emotional first, they are so emotionally drained. They get tears all down their eyes. Now the guys are getting emotional because they're seeing what's going on with the music. And the girls, and they all get emotional. Then I'm like, watch, here comes the baskets. Sure enough, the passes the baskets around. People they use that emotional high to take advantage of it. And here you go, here you go. Then they do it more and more. It's like, you know what? They stop everything. The pastor says, you know what? And I see this too. It's crazy, man. It was like Christmas time. He goes, listen, it's like, the Lord's telling me right now, I know you just donated, but you got money saved for your bills and all that. The Lord's telling me right now, if you give your money for your electric bill, your rent, the Lord will take care of you. And they passed the baskets around, and the dummies were doing that again. Signing the checks over that they were going to go to the electric company. And you see, I mean, this is unreal what happens with music, man. So the point of this whole presentation is to give you an understanding that what the general public does not see about music. Now, when I drive down the road, sure, I'll put a song on, maybe. Most of the time I listen to talk shows. That's just me. You know what I mean? I listen to talk radio constantly to, catch up with the news that's going on and all that, stuff. But, when you see these people at red lights, man, they're like rocking out, whatever the case. And, again, there's nothing wrong with having a good time. We're not saying it's, something bad. But when you live your life around it or not paying attention to reality, because some people do pump the music, the light turns green, and they're like, yeah, and you're like, beep, 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 just as bad as people being on their cell phones, you know what I mean? And so it does, and I want to show you this, which relates to what I'm talking about here. Jimi Hendrix. And if you don't know who Jimi Hendrix is and you like music, you're living under a rock. Okay, he says right out, through music, you hypnotize people, and when you get them at their weakest point, you can preach into their subconscious what we want to say. And again, he goes, through music, you hypnotize people, and when you get them at their weakest point, you can preach into their subconscious what you want to say. They can tell you anything. Take sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's cool, man. Go have sex with your all your neighbors, whatever the garbage they preach. And these pop stars, they're saying go have sex with anybody you want. Doesn't matter the sex, male, female, whatever the case. And you've seen that where these modern day pop artists, whatever. But this is them openly saying we're hypnotizing them. And if you walk into a casino, folks, the music that they're playing in the casinos, in the background, they play music that makes you feel inspired to spend money. And spend money that you don't have. They use, I used to work in Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut, the biggest casino in the world. And I witnessed what they do, all the subliminal stuff that they do to people. They got the music and they adjust the flicker rate on the video screens to make you to the screen all day. Like that. Like kids watching cartoons, man. It's like it's scary, man. It really is. And they get the music in the background, and it's like makes you feel like, oh yeah, I got money. I feel great tonight, man. And they pass out you the free watered down drinks. People like getting into the music and the screens. Everybody's having a good time. They got free concerts going on, all this stuff. And yeah, you are boom, 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 spending money. Oh, I need more money. You know what? Let me go put my car up. I can win that money back. And people lose cars, and the suicide rate's huge in casinos. When I worked there, man, it was about just a short amount of time I worked there. Dozens of people committed suicide right on the property, because they lost everything. That's what the stuff does to you, man. And it's not. I got to do a whole show on casinos, man. But this is what they're saying, folks. You need to be careful. I'm not saying to not listen to music, whatever the case. Nothing wrong with it. But you need to know to a point. It's just entertainment. It's not your lifestyle. Jimi Hendrix or none of these people care about you, even though he's dead now. Rihanna and all these people don't give a rat's butt about you. They're there for one purpose and one purpose only, and it's to make money and to make you worship them, literally. That's why you see, we're going to get to the slides, man. Madonna and all these people come out with the serpents on them because Madonna, okay, she named herself Madonna because Madonna is, it's an old pagan goddess, the Madonna. It's, you see the Madonna with baby. It goes back to Semiramis with her son Tammuz, which is Isis and the Horus, okay? And it's back then they were trying to distort the virgin birth of Jesus before it would actually happen, and Isis wasn't a virgin at all. She was a temple prostitute prior to marrying her own son, and a child, Tammuz, aka Horus, that they thought was a reincarnation. No, it's all garbage, but that's just what this goes along with the music business too. So this is what they're openly saying to you folks. And you got Eminem, I sold my soul to the devil and never get it back. And you see the other quote about him. And if you sell your soul to the devil, you get more grain. And that's talking about money. That's Drake. And we're more popular than Jesus. We already talked about that with Bob here, with the Beatles. And there's Eminem, just openly, blatantly displaying who he was. And if you notice, the left eye is exposed only. The left eye is very symbolic in the occult. And he's got the goat of Mendes over his head right there. And right there, Michael Jackson, your cameras can't control the minds of those who know that you'll even sell your soul just to get the story told. And he's more right than he actually knows. And, God rest his soul. I pray that, the thing is, I pray that these people, which a lot of them did in the end up turning to the cross. I don't know if Michael Jackson did, because Michael Jackson was involved in the Kabbalah, him and Madonna. Kabbalah is, the Kabbalistic magic is extremely evil, folks. It's the source of Satanism, literally. And, you got Madonna in the Baphomet uniform, and also as Isis. I don't give a damn if I go to hell, Madonna says, and she literally says that. Kurt Cobain, this is one of many of his Satan quotes here. I drink beer, smoke pot, worship Satan. And the reason why I'm showing you the slides for, I'm going to get to that in a minute.
And he was brought up in a Christian home. He came from a Christian background. And, it's sad. He became a heroin addict, heavily addicted. He got his fame, but he sure got an old death.
Yeah, exactly, man. And a lot of these people did, like we mentioned Aleister Crowley earlier. His father was a minister. So it makes you wonder what goes on in these people's heads to make them turn like this. And
you got me with some of it. I don't really like their music, but I had to write an article or two on Kurt Cobain. And when I read, I felt bad for the human being that was going through it, but also, people go to a show, when you would cover a show, people dress like the artist, they get their haircut like the artist.
Yep, same tattoos.
Attitude from the artist, they can look at life, an outlook. It's a really powerful thing when you're young, and older people too. I went to an Elvis tribute show, and all these guys, some people dressed up as a joke like Elvis, but, the haircuts, they emulate the people so much. And you did so many shows on the stuff like Disney, and it's fascinating. You would think that most wholesome stuff would go. It's like every movie. If I just wanted some mindless entertainment, I'd throw on a Disney movie show like Donald Duck, right? It's not silly, but you put on the evil lizards. Then the other one, Escape to Witch Mountain. It's like every movie you put on. Donald Duck, I guess, has been clean so far, but favorite. But it's no joke now. It's that thing with that Disney bracelet. It's like a Walk of the Beast bracelet. You go and they have all the technology in it, and it's getting kids used to almost seeing ships, right?
Oh yeah, I brought that up in one of my previous shows, man, and which we'll do that again. We're gonna bring that show up because the real ID's rolling out and they're transferring everything to this RFID technology. You know what I mean? And which is a prelude to the coming Mark of the Beast and everything. But yeah, you mentioned Elvis, so right here it says someday, because Elvis was into the New Age, someday in the near future we'll see how The so-called ministers of God, referring to Christianity, react as they see their worn-out ways and their whole old age start crumbling. So basically, it's talking about Christians who believe in, the scripture and everything, you know what I mean, and the old scripture and all that. And they'll get theirs. I can't wait for this new age to come. And that was Elvis Presley. And you got other quotes by.
And gospel songs that we met people in the occult. He actually died on the toilet reading the occult book, and his barber was the little gave a lot of the occult books. And not a lot of people know this, but his brother, I think his name was Ricky Stanley from memory, became an evangelist. And when all was done, he had 16 drug businesses, and some were like the lauded, and drugs they give you when you have cancer and you can't be helped. He was taking powerful stuff, and they were doing an expose on him at the time, and he was nervous of it coming out. And his brother said he saved up the packets of medicine that he got morning and night through the day, and he actually committed suicide. Wow. I don't know if he put that out because Graceland. I like Elvis movies and I like the gospel songs and things like that, but it's true. He was immersed in the occult, sadly, and he was reading one of those books when he died, and his own half brother said, well, I guess it would be a stepbrother, I'm sorry. So it would be a stepbrother. Said Elvis actually committed suicide and saved up the medicine back into him, give him. And he actually had a nurse living in the driveway in the trailer, and she would come up and give him shots. It would be like he meant to come on ritual to think of it.
Well, unreal, man. And yeah, a lot of drugs, deaths. We're gonna get to that when we get to the 27 Club, man. And a lot of crazy deaths. People, all these artists dying, about 50 of them dying at the age of 27. And you got Christina Aguilera, "The Devil's in My Soul, so my heart became the grave, the flame that burns without control. I am the master and the slave." And, then this one had Jim Morrison, of all people I mentioned earlier. "I met the spirit of music in the appearance of the devil on the Venice Canal, running. I saw Satan moving beside me, a fleshy shadow of my secret mind," which I want to transition from here into to the Crossroads rituals, man, because we got tons of quotes. We could be here for an hour just on the quotes alone. The Crossroads rituals, man, which ties into everything we're talking about. And again, a crossroads is when somebody comes at the point of their life that they gave everything, and they're desperate. They're completely desperate, and it's called a Fauism. Like, in other words, when you're Fauing, like, which come to the crossroad in your life. Oh man, what do I do now? You know what I mean? You sacrificed everything, and there you are. So there's Robert Johnson in the middle of the crossroads, just simulating what he did, because this crossroad ritual is like, so you should go to this crossroad at midnight. Now, there's different types of crossroad rituals. This one's Papa Legba. Papa Legba, he's the bigger one. I mean, he's they call him the guardian of the gateway. Basically, the crossroads represent, in the occult, crossroads represent the crossing, the meeting of the doorway between the spirit world and the real world, the reality. So Papa Legba, he comes from this Damon in this African region, and he's one of the biggest African deities worshipped. Now, if you go on these clowns pages, and exactly what they are, is clowns on YouTube and everything else, you'll see these people teaching you how to do this ritual to summon Papa Legba. And they believe that he, is a trickster of the crossroads. He's the guardian of the crossroads. And he's the master and trickster and warrior of destiny, and provides opportunities for the people who come to seek him. And they tell you to come do this at night, and there's different ways and rituals. And anybody who's watched the old WWE, if you ever watch the Papa Shango character, that's exactly what he looks like. And there's been different images portrayed of him, and I think this is one of the tarot cards of Papa Legba. And some of these, they do mock rituals too, making a crossroads, and that's where the symbols come from. Now, this one here you're looking at, this is heat cake. Now, this is done during the black moon and certain lunar events. And what she does, it's a three-way crossroad. It's a path carving ritual of Hecate, where similar rituals are done. You know what I mean? And this goes back for thousands of years. And some of the saying, that she was there before the devil. They said, which we know the devil has been there before anybody, but anyway, they say she's older than the devil. Hecate appears in Greek mythology in association with the crossroads legend known as the Queen of the Night. Now, some of the New Agers will go this route. If you're a musician, whatever, they will go the New Age route. And then you got the African Americans and other people who go the Papa Legba route. You know what I mean? So, and then you got the hardcore Satanists who know exactly it's nothing but the devil himself in different disguises. This is what the Bible calls familiar spirits. Now you're seeing these different deities, they're all actually Satan. They're all Luciferian, all demonic spirits that are called familiar spirits. They look like somebody, sound like somebody that's different, but it's not. And again, she's known as the Queen of the Night. And I'm trying to read my own writing here. The goddess, well, she's not a goddess at all, but the goddess also looked after the entrance. And the light magic and witchcraft, herbs and poisonous plants, ghosts and necromancy. And necromancy is having sex with the dead. And modern witchcraft practice.
I think that's legal in Canada now.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, I think there was bestiality.
So they got pets, right?
Yep. Then if you choose the Papa Legba route, has different functions with Haitian voodoo. But what interests here is interests me, is his role of keeper of the intersections, roads, doors, and so on. I'm trying to read through the screen here. And he acts as a liminal figure between the spirit and mortal world, able to communicate with both, much like Hermes. So basically, this is the guy that's allegedly cuts a deal for you on your behalf with the devil. So he's supposed to be the medium, the mediator between you and Satan. Does that sound like familiar a little bit? There's only one mediator, and that's Jesus Christ, and he's not the mediator between you and Satan. He's the mediator between you and the Holy Father. But anyway, he controls the doorways and the spirit and physical world. So this is Papa Legba here, is the main deity for this crossroads ritual. They're exactly the one that Robert Johnson used. And there's been many, again, images of Papa Legba, but he looks like an African voodoo priest. That's where it originates from. And he takes the form of this cat here. And he said the cat, he's always got like some kind of a bird with him, like a chicken or whatever the case. And he looks like a hippie in some places, or African voodoo priest. But people are just want to warn you, man. Even the Hecate rituals, this is a New Age and spiritualism and all that. And a lot of musicians go this route, or pure plain route, Satan. As you can see, the devil right there. That's who it is, folks. You're cutting a deal with the devil. Now, somebody addressed me earlier in the show, like actually when I posted about this. It was my cousin actually, and a couple other people. I don't believe that because Jesus offers salvation. Absolutely, and we're not saying that none of these people can't be saved. They sold their souls to the devil, okay? But the thing is, they can be saved if they realize, oh my God, I made a mistake. Come to the cross and give everything to Christ. He will terminate that contract with Satan. And here's the other thing too. Even if you did sell your soul to Satan, he doesn't own it because he's not going to be your master in hell. When he's rotting down at him, he's got his own special place. If you're in the lake of fire, you're not going to see Satan. Satan's not going to run around like I'm the boss around here. No, he's going to be suffering worse than you are. Plain and simple. So it's not like Hollywood, folks. This is reality here. And a lot of musicians come out of this stuff, like you got Kanye West right now coming out of this. I think, I don't know. I just hope he ain't falling for the New Age type Christianity. I got to look more into that. But you know anything about Kanye West at all?
I heard you talking about him, and I heard good things about him since he's been speaking lately. He helped his wife Kim Kardashian helped him when he got out of prison. He was wrongly in prison, and Trump was able to get a pardon for her. It was with some kind of drug sentence, and she was Christian, and they facilitated her getting right on the case and getting them out to doing some things. And she said when she was coming out, she couldn't think of what to say, and she gave her the Lord gave her the phrase Jesus is the resurrection. But he, working out with his wife. So it seems like they were starting to do some good things, and seems to be waking up from the stuff he's been into, which is really positive. Like that kind of music I didn't really get into myself, but I've listened to you talk to us about him, and he's boldly speaking up. I think for the right, and it's good to see somebody come out of that.
And I think one of his songs coming out, he praises Jesus Christ, and which I hope it's in the right way. Excuse me. I hope it's in the right way because a lot of people do that, but in a New Age type way. But I don't know. But him being married to the Kardashians, I mean, the Illuminati as they come, they really are. But I just hope and pray that Kanye West is coming out of this, and there's articles about this. Kanye West urges youngsters to put down the gram and claims that LA is run by Satan. And that he's 100% right on that. The musician's latest album, Jesus is King, that's the album, sorry, not the song. I guess he's got an album coming out called Jesus is King. It's filled with messages of how modern world is bad. So this is going to be pretty interesting. I definitely want to check more into this. But and here's the thing too. Before Kanye started, coming out with stuff, a couple of years ago, it was, of course, not headline news. Small little reports that Kanye West has been having spiritual problems. He's been physically sick as well. And right then, and I knew, me and my buddy Jimmy, both of us knew that he's coming out of, the Illuminati, and God's plucking him out of the pack there. And so that's what happens when you come out from being deep and dwelled into the occult. When you come out of this, you're going to suffer. I mean, you are going to suffer, absolutely. You fully come to the cross.
From personal experience, like I wasn't a musician, but when I got out of that stuff, I got very sick. And I was getting headaches that lasted for days at a time. And usually think that when you went to a doctor, they couldn't quite pin down. And, the spiritual things going around were intense. Like I called prayer lines in the middle of the night because something would be a presence in my room with an imagination, I guarantee you. And, they prayed with me and teach because I was doing the Lord and teaching me to cast it out. But, from some degree, I think the Lord let me suffer through that too. Not that he wants us to suffer, but to go through it to learn how bad it is. And to see what good things are really behind it. They really want to destroy you. Like they said, the Antichrist name is a papa. It means the destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to have this entity come up, angelic entity, and they're going to worship it. And, they're put, even through Disney, we talked about, starting to give the bracelet to get to, line with his mark. And that's really the danger. I couldn't be more strict. Like, you just said something that really hit me. I try to speak virtually when I can tell you something happening as a first person account. But one of the more painful is like someone I dated said they were a Christian. And usually I have my antenna up. I never want to get near any of that stuff. But they kind of played me and thought I just wouldn't care. But their definition of Jesus now is like the Marion Williamson thing where they say, like, well, Jesus is really no more God than you or me. So let's take Jesus. So it's a little deceptive, and I should have caught on quicker, but it was, they're basically saying any human being can attain that Jesus heard.
Mm.
And for play to a real deep level sometimes. And, the person was actually, I got kind of played because they knew what I believed and they said they went along with it. So I don't mean it, I pray for them and hope they come out and they come to the Lord. But it's true what you just said. It's like it's very dangerous now because there is a New Age Christianity and it comes from that Marian Williamson book of,
Well, that was a great show we did, exposing Marian Williamson.
It's real garbage. Yeah, it's real dangerous stuff. And because then they can look self-help. What's bad? Everybody's being compassionate to one another. Why do you have to be divisive? Well, I have to be divisive because you're going basically to the devil. They're going to say, oh my God, he believes in the devil. Yes, there is a devil. The devil is, the adversary. The adversary is God. You believe in angels in the New Age. We were talking about good angels and bad angels. So you can laugh at me, oh, there's no devil. It's a fallen angel. You believe in angels. You're just not going along with the Bible, which is a mistake. You're saying all angels are the same and the bad one. So it's not a fair argument when they laugh at us and say, oh, you believe in the devil. she believes in angels. It's a fallen angel. You know, you just laugh at the name because, you know, it's easy to pick at. You look at a little caricature of a devil with a tail and horns. But that's what it is, you know. It's a fallen angel. It's one of the most, they get the most powerful one, the most powerful.
Yeah, they believe in counterfeit angels and a counterfeit Christ. They believe Christ is not a being, but just the energy in the universe, that a conscious Christ they call it, and which is all Babylonian garbage. And we got one more article here before we move on to the 27 Club, because while it's been almost an hour and a half. Time goes by, man, when you're having fun. I mean, it's not fun to have to expose this, but it's fun to educate people, and I love it, man. And to wake people up with this stuff. And Britney Spears. Oh, well, this is from News Punch. Now, this source is, I don't know. I mean, this could be fake news. I have no clue, but which is kind of interesting. But allegedly, Britney Spears opens up about the Illuminati and says, I pray to God for forgiveness. And if this is true, I pray to God it is true, because we all know Britney Spears, as you see in one of the quotes, she was one of the persons who sold the soul and her body, literally. But it says Britney Spears has told close friends and associates that she prays to God every night, asking him for forgiveness for her association with the Illuminati. And I hope to pray to God this is true. And if you look up, anybody wants to fact check that, News Punch, that's the name of the media. I wish I could have brought it up on screen. Yeah, I should have. I just found these a little while ago before the show started. So, again, Britney Spears opens up about the Illuminati. I pray to God for forgiveness. So, I wouldn't doubt it, man, because you've seen the same case with Kanye West, which was true. And I hope and pray that she does come out of it. Like Miley Cyrus, man. That girl, when she first started, she had an amazing voice, beautiful young girl that looked like she would be a good role model for girls, and she turned into Zool from ever see the movie Ghostbusters, the girl on top of the building with the cut off hair and all that does the backflips and all that, and, has red eyes and all that. She went from this beautiful girl into the Zool-like creature, this Babylonian goddess, like, I own yourselves, the kind of voice, whatever. And I just hope and pray that these ladies, and I'm sure they're great people, that, every one of these people we mentioned, folks, we need to pray for them. And it's not them, because when you're young, we all do stupid things, folks. And it's not an excuse, it's not, but we all do dumb things. And all it takes is prayer. Pray to God and, to help all these people. And now, what if Britney Spears came out, okay, she was, like her or not, she was one of the most famous female musicians of all time, up there with Mariah Carey and Madonna and all that. Now, she came out and openly public said, my soul belongs to God now. She started spinning gospel music. Sure, she'd get trashed in Hollywood and everything else, but she would bring a lot of her fans to the cross. You know what I mean? And so the same thing with Kanye West. He was on American Idol, one of the American Idol people, and he's brought a lot of fans to God now, you know what I mean? So we need to pray for these people. And I'm not at all badgering any of these people, and I hope Kurt Cobain and all these other cats came to the cross before their death. And again, like I was saying earlier, if you do any of these things, you have sold your soul or any of the case like that, there is a way out of that contract, and that's through the blood of Jesus Christ. So I want to move on because of time. Yeah. This is the 27 Club. We're not going to go through all the names, but I'm going to show you the slides of all 50 of them. And you'll see some highlighted names that, well-known musicians, that every one of these people died at the age of 27. And there's the charts of the day died by, the age and the date of death and date of birth and all that. And you'll see it. This is actually on Wikipedia. If you type that in, the 2700 Club, you'll find this. But these are the slides here. Look at Jimi Hendrix. He died at the age of 27. Jim Morrison, the age of 27. I just got to highlight some of the most well-known ones here. Roger Lee Durham, 27. Cecilia, 27. Every one of these people, man. All these people, 27 years old. Chris Austin, Kurt Cobain at the bottom there, 27 years old. All died from crazy stuff, man. Kurt Cobain was suicide by gunshot. Insane, it really is.
I think he was actually killed, possible, allegedly by someone killed him for his wife for the money.
Oh, we doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that.
I did an article on that, and I went in open-minded, and I interviewed the private detective who was used by Courtney Love, and he was a believer, and he helped it out. I guess he liked me because I was a believer, and he told me, the evidence they had, and I just presented it, and I made an article, and I went in open-minded, and when I left, my own opinion was it seems like there was something real funky with that.
Wow, interesting, man. And it's kind of crazy, man. You're still young, man, and all that money they got. Like at that point, like you make all that money at that point, 27 years old, you could just get away from it all and just live the rest of your life comfortable, man. And it's not about the money though. Well, it's just the point here. And look at all these people, all these famous musicians. I don't even know half of these people, but as you can see, it's right on Wikipedia, man. And all these people that died at the age of 27. And it's pretty sad,
Brian
man.
Jones and the Rolling Stones and another one.
Yep, right there. Yep, Brian Jones, the third from the bottom, died 27 years, 125 days. It's kind of sad, man. And Joe Henderson, 27 years old. Robert Johnson, as we mentioned earlier.
Janis Joplin.
Yep, Janis Joplin. As we mentioned earlier, Robert Johnson, there he is right there, third from the top. Died from, and the thing is, the case of these people's deaths, that's what the media tells you. So we don't know. They could have been murdered, which I think most of them were, if you ask me. Like Tupac, I mean, I think he was murdered, but I don't know. Then you got Janis Joplin, like you said. Jimi Hendrix at the top, yeah. And I know there's a 30-second delay in your end. Jimi Hendrix, 27 years old. Janis Joplin, 27 years old. Down here, fourth one down. Jim Morrison, 27 years old. Linda Jones, 20. I mean, this is crazy, man. And it's not a coincidence, man. It really ain't. And I think there's some kind of significance with the number there.
Well, Brian Jones went to Africa, and the Rolling Stones had cut him off, and he went to record. I don't know if they call it voodoo in Africa, but rituals, they give them the same spiritual ritual.
Yep.
And he brought recording equipment to put it on a record he wanted to make, and he came back and he said this stuff was after and he's going to die. And he came back freaked out from what he saw, and then now they think he was murdered by someone who worked for him. But nonetheless, he died at 27, and he was immersed in the occult. And ran over to Africa to record those, brought the recording equipment to record those rituals when they performed them.
Yeah, that's unreal, man. You know what I mean? And it's not a coincidence. And it doesn't say that everybody that does this stuff dies at 27. Because some of these people make this pact when they're much older, too. So it's just kind of funny, man, because all these people suffered similar fates and, just deadly weird, traffic collisions and all this other stuff, drug overdoses and all that. And, yeah, for him going to Africa, man, like, I wouldn't doubt that he dabbled into some kind of the voodoo, because voodoo is very extremely popular. I talked to some ministers, those outreach ministers that go to other countries to try to witness the people and everything. And one guy told me, he goes, the church I used to go to, he said, you literally could see demons flying around. They can't see them, but you can, because the demonic activity is so entrenched in some of those countries in Africa. You literally could see demons flying through the sky and everything. And he goes, I'm not kidding you now. And I believe him, I really do. And because he wasn't the first one to tell me that. Because again, voodoo is like normal in Africa. And let me see what else we got. Illuminati hand gestures coming up. So I want to go through this quick here because we're running on hour and a half. So the Illuminati hand gestures here, which now what Illuminati hand gestures are is basically them blatantly telling you. And the thing is, here's the thing, with a symbol, okay, or some kind of a token, which is a hand gesture or whatever, it's meant, okay, the reason for a symbol is to conceal to those who can't see it and to reveal to those who can see it. So you may get a symbol like, it's just a diamond, no big deal. That really doesn't mean nothing. Well, to you it don't, but to them it does, and to their people that portray a message to them, it means a lot. You have no idea. I mean, the esoteric knowledge goes way beyond far than you can understand. This is for the average people out there. But And it's not a coincidence. Nobody does that. I mean, let me ask you a question before we go any further. That when you pose for a family photo, go somewhere, whatever, do you blatantly put your whole, your hand in your coat? Do you blatantly do the on the left eye, the triangle on the left eye, or the circle, or this? You blatantly do. Yeah, some people. This is famous, absolutely. We know it's evil of the devil, but most people just do this, okay, because they don't know any better. That's understandable. Okay, some people do the peace sign, which is a Kabbalah for Vav. It's invoking the number of the beast. That's why when President Nixon did this in Germany, everybody started booing him. He was like, what the hell is everybody booing me for? They were just cheering me a minute ago. Because that's like giving somebody the evil eye or the middle finger. Because in Germany and some of those countries, that's invoking the number of the beast, Vav, Hebrew, 666. So, he didn't know that. So the people you see all the time taking pictures doing this or this, it doesn't mean they're Satan worshippers. It doesn't mean they belong to the Illuminati. Now, when people purposely put triangles over their eyes or their hand in the coat, like the Prince William does that constantly, Prince Harry, whatever the hell his name is, he's the one that just got married. Again, I don't keep up with pop culture much, but the one that got married to his own cousin, whatever. And everybody's like, "Oh, we gotta go watch the wedding. Oh, what a beautiful dress." Oh, but he's purposely in every photo shot he can putting his hand in his coat, signifying like this. Do these Illuminati or Masonic hand gestures.
One of the Prince Phillips, we just to bring it up because it sickens me. He was the one who was getting implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein story, and somehow that just went right off the media. Actually, I'd like to know what happened myself. Can't believe we're worrying about all these other different things, and that story died.
Yeah.
Way to the top, English royalty with what he's running around with pedophile island for. It's really sickening.
Yeah.
I could see you do a show on that one when they shift from right into that one.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, you look at it, just like every time you just look at it, the rabbit hole just goes deeper and deeper. And these are some of the, again, nobody just does this, okay? You have to know what you're doing, and, it's not a coincidence either, man. Nobody just does this. And these are some of the things right there. You know what I mean? And another thing I want to point out too, because they've been saying this is racist. It's a white, that symbolizes white power, whatever the case. No, it doesn't. Okay, they do this in Hinduism, they do it in Buddhism, and also in practice of yoga. Okay, and you see the 3G, whatever not the internet, but the yoga symbol. But this is esoteric. This symbolizes invoking the Kabbalah. Okay, this symbolizes invoking the Kundalini serpent, which is 6. That's exactly what it is. And you don't learn that until you get to the deeper levels, whatever. But that's exactly, it's nothing to do with racism at all. I know some dummies are out there say, "Oh, we got to ban this. It's racism." The OK sign, if it was making hats like that. But even though I wouldn't do that anyway, because it doesn't mean racist, whatever. And people think it means okay, whatever. But this is actually invoking the same thing as this Mr. Spock used to do. Because Mr. Spock, he was into Kabbalah. He's the one to put this into the Star Trek series to make it a symbol. It was out of script, and they loved it. But it's invoking this, and this is invoking the Kabbalistic magic. So anyway, you got to see these.
Spock was actually based on the devil.
Yep.
I listened to Gene Roddenberry talk. Yeah, he took the character and based it on Satan. That's the way he looks. I mean, I'm a Star Trek fan. I didn't know that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was just shocked when he said where he got it from. He said he based Spock on Satan. And they actually did one other sound. When Star Trek ended, they did the cartoons in the morning.
Yep.
And they still had the real voices when we were kids. And they're probably older than you, but, watching on Saturday morning. One of the episodes was Satan was misunderstood and was changing. And they were, this was a Saturday morning cartoon. And that's when they thought they were going a little bit off the rails.
Wow, it's amazing, man. Yeah, and then especially the cartoons, especially when we watched them, we had no idea. The movie Ghostbusters, right? I loved that movie. At the time, I loved the ghost hunting stuff, and I watched the first Ghostbusters and the second one, I don't know how many times, probably literally hundreds of times, like the first one especially. And when my eyes got open to this, and I got to watch that movie again. I seen every Illuminati, every occultic symbol and meaning and everything that just spewed out. It was like watching the Ghostbusters for the first time. That's what symbolism does, man, when you open your eyes to what God can see, and it's a whole new world, man. And when I was mentioning Baphomet earlier, there's a Madonna posing as the Baphomet. Now, when I mentioned earlier, too, about the rock star look, the long hair, the makeup on and everything. Now, Baphomet, as you can see, has got a set of boobs on them. And most of the time, the pictorial is disgusting. The satanic one, they got the upside-down cross up his rear end. And one hand pointing up, one pointing down, a dark moon and a light moon, as above, so below. That's a cultic gob. Then you always see the western and eastern pentagram on them somewhere, and there's the staff of Ra and Jupiter on them and everything else. I mean, there's so much involved here. The horn goat god of Mendes and all that.
She absolutely stinking. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in when I see her dressed up as Baphomet.
Yep.
On the Super Bowl, she's absolutely,
And what did she put at the end? World peace. It's that fake world peace that the Bible talks about. And so Baphomet, there's a lot of conspiracies where Baphomet came from. Somebody that was from Islam. No, it's nothing to do with Islam. Baphomet came from a Leafless Levi. He was a Leafless Levi was he was a part of the Knights Templar. He was a very high level occultist. He practiced dark arts of magic. Now, Leafless Levi drew this from, and there's not too much information where he got this image from. But if you know anything about the occult, you'll know that every association with some kind of horned beast, it goes back to the Baal worship and everything else. Now, from the sources I read, that he drew this from an old Egyptian deity. And a horned beast is Baal worship, which is Satan. I mean, no matter which route you go down, then here's the thing: there's thousands of different names and deities, all of the same things, the horned beast and all that, and it's androgynous. So what they do is it's the merging, the union of the two sexes. That's why he's half male and half female. That's why in the rock star life, and I'm, I don't know if these rock stars are aware to this, but when you're dressing like a girl, you're shaving your chest, you're putting makeup on, and growing your hair long like a girl. And there's nothing wrong with growing your hair long. I don't think so anyway, but when you grow your hair long and dress like a girl, tight leather clothes, I mean, that went on in the 70s, the 80s, probably the 60s for I don't know, but they are actually mimicking this Baphomet. Yep. Yep. And that's why, the union of the two sexes, as above, so below, that's a cult philosophy that basically saying, that's where the yin-yang comes from, too. And I'm in martial arts, and I don't wear the yin-yang on my uniform. I don't wear any of the Buddha patches or anything like that because, and I told my sensei that, I know a lot of people in the system didn't like it, but hey, right now I'm going for a black belt. If it came to the point that, hey, listen, you need to wear this stuff or you can't be part of the association, I'd gladly, in seconds, tear up and burn my brown belt. I would. And that's where the yin-yang comes from. It's as above, so below. It's basically equality and duality. They believe that just as powerful Satan is, God is, and in the other parts of the cult too, they believe that God is both male and female, good and evil. They believe Satan and God are the same person. So, it's like a split personality, the same God, but with a split personality. That's what they believe. And the insanity of these people, it really is, and the disgusting pervertedness, and this is what the openly was displayed. There's another Baphomet with the Lady Gaga, and it's not a coincidence. Look at Madonna. Look at Lady Gaga pointing exactly the same exact hand gestures. If you look at it, her right hand is the two fingers, the demigod sign, and the full hand extending out downwards. It's not a coincidence, folks, at all.
Well, she got busted in the WikiLeaks thing when that came out with John Podesta, who's the Hillary Clinton, staff member way up at the top. And they were doing the blood milk sex ritual.
Yep.
And he was invited to it with his brother. So this goes up, this isn't just her saying, I'm going to make believe I'm Illuminati so I can get when people like us talk about it, they get publicity. This is inviting John Podesta who works for Hillary Clinton, and this is in the WikiLeaks paper, and she was going to be part of that ceremony. I'm trying to think of the name. It was like either blood, milk, sperm, something. And Podesta was going to it. This came up on WikiLeaks, and the media just basically let it go. And Lady Gaga was involved in this as well. So it's
spirit cooking.
Way up to the top of the country, like when we talked about Marion Williamson. Like, this isn't just that lady.
Is it?
Like this and let me get publicity. This is, they're into this.
Is it spiritual cooking? Spirit cooking, I mean?
I think it was the milk, sperm.
Yeah.
I can look it up on the computer. I can Google it.
Yeah, it's called.
John Podesta.
It's called spirit cooking. And what they do is they use menstrual blood, sperm, and all kinds of bodily fluids, and they mix it together on a corpse, literally. And they call it spirit cooking. And it's disgusting, man. And these people actually eat feces. They actually sit there dying on feces, and they're sitting there gagging as they're eating it. And this stuff is real, man. And the stuff that they do, they'll eat stuff that makes a maggot puke because it honors Satan. You know what I mean? And it gives them these so-called powers and everything. And yeah, you were referring to spirit cooking, man, and the menstrual blood. And I don't want to say too much, man. The sperm and but we have to tell it how it is. The sperm and just different fluids and nasty, disgusting things that come from the human body. They ingest the stuff, and it's not a joke, man. And they ingest the blood of children. That's why the abortion thing's through the roof, because they need to keep up the child sacrifice. A lot of these children are sold on the black market, children and babies as well, to be conducting these satanic rituals. And in Hollywood too, in the music business, a lot of the kids that grew up in the business, they grew up on drugs and alcohol because they can't cope. And it's not an excuse, but they can't cope of the SRA, which is sexual ritual abuse, that their own parents put them through, or their guardians let these people molest the kids, and they're raising fallen angels and demons, having sex with them, drinking the blood of these things. And imagine you're a kid, man, 6, 7 years old, seeing this stuff. I mean, as an adult, you could barely comprehend it. Never mind a kid. And that's why people like Corey Feldman and all that grew up on, drugs and alcohol just to cope with the crap that they're seeing. You know what I mean? And this is real stuff.
Now with this Epstein stuff, and where did the story go? They were finally getting to the core of the story, and they just let it go. But this is what people go, oh, this stuff doesn't happen. Baloney. Like, this stuff does happen, and these people are getting busted.
Absolutely. And I think Podesta was murdered, man. I think he's alive. If you ask me, I think it was.
Epstein was murdered.
Yeah.
Podesta.
Epstein's late at night, man. It's almost 2 in the morning.
Anybody hanging out with Hillary Clinton could be murdered.
Yeah.
If you know something that, a lot of our people seem to die in natural death. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think Epstein was.
Vince Foster and Ron Brown, they don't bring it up.
Nope.
It's quite a line of corpses.
So, question is, which celebrity did not ride on Epstein's plane? That's a quiz right there.
The 26, he claimed he was on it 4 times, but it came up that it was like 24 or 26. That's quite a disparity.
Yeah.
And suddenly the story disappears, and we're worried about Trump asked to look into Biden's son in Ukraine being on a border shouldn't be on. So that gets everyone's ire, but they're not worried about Jeffrey Epstein, sex trafficking minors, and if the sexual abuse there could lead as high to the highest levels in countries up to Prince Philip, but possibly Bill Clinton and other people. And suddenly the story disappeared. I mean, it's just like a magician waved a wand over it and went away. And that guy's in jail, in custody. He should have been put in a cell, a guard, camera, lock and key, and watched. And just because of what was happening. And he died in custody, and was supposed to believe that in his cell was a policeman who's been put up for murder. He looks like a steroid monster. And Epstein said he attacked him one day, and he put back in the cell with the guy again, and then he winds up, possibly suicided, and possibly killed. I mean, it looked like a suicide. We're just giving up on it. I mean, we're a pretty brain to the culture, and then the media telling us to worry about the Ukraine story, where Biden's
Yeah.
making millions.
Well, you know what though? Those magicians are called the magicians who do all that. It's called the mainstream media. And finish up on these hand gestures here, and you can see Jay-Z, I think. Again, I suck with pop culture. That diamond, okay, that diamond hand gesture, I'm going to explain what that is. To them, in the Illuminati, diamond. You ever see them? It's a video called The Ting Tings. Shut Up and Let Them Go. No, I'm sorry, Shut Up and Let Me Go. It's a European band. It's a famous band out in Europe. It's called The Ting Tings. And the song, I encourage everybody to go watch it and just pay attention. It shows the tree of life. Her symbolizing herself as Jesus and, Satan, or whatever, the Antichrist, and the guy is Jesus. But there's a lot of symbolism involved. Now, the diamond, what does that represent? The diamond to them represents the portal to hell. The portal from as above, so below, into the, from the spirit world to this world. That's what it represents, and you can see that happening a lot. And you all see an eye right there. You can see the association with the lightning bolt on the eyes. Now, the lightning bolt, as everybody should know, the lightning bolt is symbolized to Satan. It's in Islam as well. They think Allah. They say Allah is symbolized by the bolt of lightning. What does the Bible say? He's symbolized by the bolt of lightning. Satan. The same thing in the occult here, and this is that exactly possessing the all-seeing eye of Satan. No, it's not the eye of God, not the eye of Providence, not the eye of Horus. It's the eye of Lucifer, plain and simple. And whoops, there we go. And here you have Rihanna doing, I think she's doing the triangle or the diamond. And there's the Madonna, even though it's Britney Spears, that's called the Madonna. And the ancient worlds of the Babylonian world, especially the Madonna, and also the serpent, which goes back to where? The Garden of Eden, the serpent that tempted Eve to eat the fruit of good and knowledge, and that's where the serpent comes from. The Madonna with child, but you don't see a child here, but you see a girl being promiscuous with a serpent, because in the occult world, you'll see that a lot in the occult. Madonna, Britney Spears, a lot of these females do this. Even Zool there, Miley Cyrus, she even had posed with the serpent as well one time, because it symbolizes, in the occult world, they believe that, which we don't know, I'm not sure because I can't find it in the Bible, but they believe that Satan, serpent there, impregnated Eve that begot Cain. That's where that bloodline started from. So that's something worth looking into. But that's where that comes from. Her being the Eve, the mother of Earth, which goes back to not the Bible's version of Eve, but the Babylonian goddess of Gaia and all that too, and of her being promiscuous with the serpent. That's why the serpent is very relevant in music. Anybody seen the old Wayne's World too? His girlfriend, they wanted to put a serpent around her too. She didn't like it, but they try to do that. But you'll see that a lot in these females. And this here is Slayer. Now, Slayer openly admits, you don't have to be an occultist to even understand. Right there, the circle, you can see the big circle around the pentagram. That's called an Ouroboros. That symbolizes a serpent or dragon, but in its own tail. That's the one of the oldest and ancient satanic symbols in the world. And then you have the traditional pentagram, which is the Western Star that points down and symbolizes the goat of Mendes, and that's what they portray. And he has more association with Baphomet. It's crazy, man. Baphomet's huge into the rock and roll, and you can see in the Santanas too, 666, the album cover. And there's Kiss's Gene Simmons. Now the thing is, yes, people do this symbol, but more than likely in the music business, these people do sell their souls. And there is her, known as her, Gabrielle Wilson, another image portraying her at the music awards with the serpent. And again, it represents the female goddess, the Madonna, and many other female deities. But Eve in the Garden of Eden having sexual relations, being promiscuous with the serpent. And as Cass with, I didn't really notice this before until I actually started looking into this. and he symbolizes the black dragon, which is Satan. And again, Kiss being dressed up as girls, that's in the Andromeda sky, Baphomet. And that's exactly what he's portraying to be, Baphomet. And those hand gestures he's throwing up, he knows exactly what he's doing. It's love to Satan, literally. And there's Madonna with the serpent. And a tribute to Iron Maiden there. And it's 666, the number of the beast. And look who they have on the cover, Baphomet. And it's not a coincidence, people. This is, and I know it's going to ruin a lot of people's love for music. And this is Katy Perry in one of her songs. And, displaying the all-seeing eye. She poses as Isis, the queen of Babylon, which is known as Semiramis in the Bible. And she just devours her mates that come to try to get with her. And there's right there necromancy being displayed there. Sick and disgusting, man, it really is. But this is your musicians, man. More Baphomet. There's the Queen Illuminati goddess right there, Madonna. And that's her with her Kabbalah coat. Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is a new order of the ages, openly displaying her involvement in Kabbalah. And there's Marilyn Manson, if you notice that Baphomet tattoo on his left arm, right underneath the devil. And I don't know if you've seen the quote with Marilyn Manson. He said he wants to be the destruction of Christianity. And there's more Baphomet poses here, and the Slayer, openly displaying. I mean, they don't hide it. They don't hide it in Slayer. People who come to the concerts with upside-down crosses and everything else. Oh, yeah, I just watched the band. It doesn't mean I'm a Satanist. Well, if you put a cross upside down, even though we don't really worship the cross, but you're openly defying Christianity, openly defying the Savior, yeah, you're going to have to answer some heavy questions, man. And there's some Lil Wayne and all the rappers here. And there's more, and a couple more here. I just want to go through it. And there you have it, man. And so, I mean, there's so much more we could be all night. But we're going on here almost 2 hours. So, Bob, if you want to throw in some closing comments or any, if you want to talk about anything we talked about here and all that stuff.
Just to kind of listening, I don't know the Lord yet. I just say that you can accept the Lord. Just ask Him in your life that He died on the cross for you, that He died, shed His blood for our sins, and then He rose from the dead. And just confess that you're a sinner and ask Him, and He forgives you and loves you. It's that simple. And thank you for having me on. And you mentioned Kurt Cobain. I just took an article I did a couple of years ago and just put it in the thread. So if anybody wants to take a look at it, I get a kick out of that. When people read it, if any comments come back, I appreciate it. And just thanks for having me. And just Jesus bless everybody. And thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. And before I go, I just want to read out some Bible verses, because I don't want to have a show without reading some scripture to correlate with everything that's going on here. And I just want to explain to you who Lucifer, now there's an argument in people, Bible scholars, that Lucifer and Satan are the same person. Regardless, it's a demonic, it's an unclean spirit, regardless if he's the same person or not. And but Lucifer is basically a walking, talking musical instrument. And it says in Ezekiel, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 13, and God says, "Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle," I don't know what that is, "and gold. The workmanship of thy timbrels and thy pipes was prepared in the day that thou was created." Now, God's talking about the creation of Satan. In other words, this cherubim he was creating, this angel, was beautiful and splendor, the most beautiful creation that he's ever created. And, God loved him, and it goes on to say that in verse 14 here, "Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so, thou wast upon the holy mountain of God, thou wast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire." Thou wast perfect in the ways from the day that you was created till iniquity was found in thee. And by the multitude of the merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence. Thou hast sinned, therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones. And in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 11 to 14, it goes on to say, and all your pomp has brought down to the grave along the noise of your harps. Maggots and spread, and beneath your worms will cover you. And thou hast fallen from heaven, O son of Lucifer. Now, this here is people saying it's talking about the king of Babylon. Well, first of all, the king of Babylon was never in heaven in the first place. So how could it be? Because there's a lot of people say, "Oh no, it's talking about the king of Lucifer, the king of Babylon." No, he was never in heaven in the first place. So, and never is going to heaven. And so, thou art fallen, and Satan was the only one that was up in heaven. You know what I mean? And thou art has fallen from, O heaven, son of Lucifer, the morning. How thou cut down to the ground, which weakened the nations. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. Thy heart will be lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reasoning of brightness, and I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee kings before thee, that may behold thee. And there's one here I wanted to talk about the music part. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you what the Bible says about Satan, which is all to do with this video here. So let me see if I get this. Praise. Oh, here is the Sephirim, and mentioned in Isaiah 6, verses 1 through 7. Says, serve as the caretakers of God's throne and continuously sing praises. Holy, 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 in the host of the Lord. All earth is filled with his glory. It is said that the surround the throne, singing the music of the spears and regulating the movement of the heavens as and emanates from God. It is also said that such a bright light emanates from them that from them that nothing, not even other divine beings have, can look upon. It is said that there are 4 of them surrounding God's throne, where they burn eternally from the love, the zeal of God. And this is talk about the Sephirim angels. And the cherubims here, which I want to get to. I'm trying to find a verse where it talks about he was in charge of the music in heaven. And I did have the verse somewhere. I apologize, guys. I had to get a lot of stuff for the show. But it talks about him being in charge of all the music in heaven. And like I said earlier, that he came to the earth with that and, perverted everything. So I don't think I have it on this article here. Right, so, all right, yeah, I apologize about that, folks, but I should have brought that verse. I should have highlighted it. But it does say that Lucifer, Satan was in charge of, he was the angel of music, you know what I mean? He was in charge of all the glory to God, music, and everything else. And so when he came here, he used those gifts. And I want to clear one thing up, too, that Satan doesn't have magical powers. The fallen angels don't have magical powers like, a lot of people depict it. They use technology. They use vast wisdom to do what they have to do. And
look up the scripture. I think it's Ezekiel 28:13.
Oh, do you want to read that for me then? I don't have my.
I'm just clicking, or I just Googled it to see what it was.
Okay.
It says it's Ezekiel 28:13. I'm clicking on it.
Yeah, because that'll be a nice verse to end the show, yeah.
Let's try different kind of.
Oh, no, take your time, man.
Okay. So Ezekiel 28:13 says, Satan was involved with music in heaven. The workmanship of this is the one you read before. The workmanship for your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. And also there's others in Revelation 5:8 and Revelation 15:2 that he played harps and brought and
And that's why the string instruments are always associated with these famous musicians. Like the Devil Went Down to Georgia song with the fiddle, which is a string instrument, the violin string instrument, the guitar. We were saying earlier, Kurt Cobain, these people playing the guitar up on stage and everything. And half these musicians said it wasn't me playing; it was just going with it. And it's always string instruments. That's where the harp is. And so that's very relevant and everything else, man. And not to mention being doped up and on psychotropics increases the control over you with demonic activities. That's why in the New Age occult and all kinds of occultism, they highly encourage the use of DMT and any hallucinogenic drugs and everything else, which is not a hallucination because they say it opens your penile gland. And it goes back to the ancient days where they use these pharmakeia, these kind of drugs that would open the third eye here in the wrong way. The penile gland that would channel you into other dimensions, like in spiritual dimensions, and that's where they say they see ascended masters, spiritual guides and all that, which are nothing but familiar unclean spirits. That's exactly what they are. And that's where a lot of psychics and people in this industry think they're getting messages from, like we mentioned Papa Legba earlier, which is a familiar spirit. It's demonic, plain and simple. There's nothing good about that. So these are the things you need to be aware of, folks, and we're going on 2 hours here. So, Bob, if you want to give any closing comments?
Again, just thanks for having me. I think you covered it all. Thanks for putting the word out there. Jesus bless you and everybody listening. And, just Jesus be praised that you can deliver you from all this stuff. It's heavy stuff to listen to, but the good news is that Jesus is Lord. And anything you're into and the problems you're having, you can break, just reach out to him.
Amen, brother. If you want to hold tight, I'll talk to you in a minute. So let me just close this out here. So, all right, guys, if you like what you've seen here, and it helps a lot, man, because people once in a while generously donate stuff for me, and it just helps with the broadcast, man. And if you don't have it, don't worry about it, man. The Lord will provide either way. But if you want to feel free to donate anything, go to my website, truthradioshow.com. Right at the top is a secured PayPal account, goes directly to my PayPal account, and anything helps, $5, whatever. It don't matter, man, because it helps with equipment and trying to better the show here and everything, and also to buy airtime on the terrestrial stations and all that. So if anybody wants to do that, please feel free to do that, or you got equipment to donate, that's fine, contact me. But anything helps, man, even $1, believe it or not. Anyway, truthradioshow.com is my website, and we'll be back next Sunday night with a great show. And during the course of the week, we're going to be doing news shows to keep you up to date with some news. And we're not going to bore you with because everybody's covering the president stuff, everybody. So we're going to stick more on other topics that the mainstream media are not focusing on, which most of the time is more important than what's going on in the White House. So anyway, guys, this is Dan Bidondi, and thank you, Bob Wilson, for joining me once again. And it's Dan Bidondi for the Dan Bidondi Show right here on truthradioshow.com. And God bless. And remember, you are the resistance. And I was actually going to see if anybody had any comments. But yeah, we'll over our time anyway. So if anybody's got any comments, questions, please put them in the links. And those of you going to be watching on YouTube later, you got any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section. And like always, like, subscribe, and share. And help us out in any which way you can. And again, the best thing you can do is spread the word. That's it. Just share it. It's more important than money and anything else. And most of all, just do it in the name of God, plain and simple. So God bless and shalom. Awesome.
Good work.
Thanks, man. So,
Wow.
See stuff.